Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here tonight, and of course, we have uh, teaser trailers, we have teases, and of course, leaks over what's going to be the cover athlete for Madden. And you know what? I don't give a shit because EA is doing something that they quintessentially routinely do. They hype up the cover athlete. They hype up. They hype up the overalls of most of the players. They hype up the trailer of let's get some shitty trap music, override that over most of the game to make it feel more moderate, and then we go over very little of what actually is different from this game from the previous. Hell, just the way that this game is just a Madden, $60 Madden mobile, make it for free. They're profiting more off Ultimate Team, you know, microtransactions than actual quintessential game sales. What is that telling you about their business track record? Madden is like obligate to profiting off minuscule content and going with quintessentially gambling for children, where most of the players being where most of the demographic barely watched football. Oh, you get to pull Otto Graham and Night Train Lane. Oh, that's great. I bet my grandfather or the Italian store or the Italian restaurant owner know who those guys are. Stop. Stop. This is why Madden 22 is going to suck. The, the, the MVP edition. They had two. They had one big goat and one baby goat, and that's supposed to be Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is a great quarterback. I will never denounce his talents. Hell, he's won a Super Bowl at such a young age, and still has a long way to go. And here's the thing: it's a long way to go. So when you just force feed this quintessential sellout narrative of trying to force over two men that were just in the Super Bowl not that long ago, officiating over this narrative, you're already pushing over what type of guys that you want to like force over people's throats over for the Madden cover. No one should care about the Madden cover. Sure, you'll get your top of the line player. Allen Iverson has been on 2K's cover more than once, more than twice, because he was that great of a high player and one of the most influential athletes in sports, in basketball at that time. Why? Who else would have been more profitable until LeBron James came in? And just knowing this is like no new physics engine, Frostbite sucks ass. They are so overly reliant on trying to make it so animation with not a good physics system, logical system, not that much quintessential interaction all over the field, inconsistent acceleration plays. They're not giving you what the fans been complaining for. And it wasn't aesthetic wise or who the cover athlete is. No one should give a shit about this. Even top football YouTubers like good sport what good sports or good Bronco that's good sports or that's good Bronco whatever. He goes over the Madden cover to quintessentially go over any other sports news or leaks over whatever you think is important in a freaking sports game. Then the gameplay itself. I think that should sell people into playing the game. And now whenever I hear my friends that still watch NFL football, they buy the game and they have 2 to 3 weeks of gameplay with it. Imagine all the Madden YouTubers that get quintessentially more viewership, not off their consistent gameplay of the current game, but when they go back to play Madden 17, Madden 04, 2K5, games that actually centralize some enjoyment, more content, and something that doesn't monopolize trying to get more into your gameplay. Madden is not a football game. It is Madden Mobile. They're trying to force over ESPN narratives into something that's supposed to be a bit more escapist than that. They insult football history, they insult football gaming, and they insult any other sports video game fan that try to at least have a semblance of archaic and simulated fun in a game. I don't give a shit that Pat Mahomes or Tom Brady are in the cover. Nobody should. And I know people are going to care, oh, what's going to be the overall? Oh, is Deshaun Watson going to get passed up? Dude, are you even going to play the game when it's a month past? Why do you guys care? I mean, sure, most of us watch football, but when you give a shit more for the next 2 weeks about DeAndre Hopkins' rating, more if you care that the game is going to be functionable for you to actually have the same amount of time you put on something like Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone. I don't know why I'm naming all battle royales because that's quintessentially more played than a primordial amount of sports games because people know that most of EA and 2K games are full of shit. They can't make wrestling games right. They can't make sports games right anymore because they take over the archaic, fun, and creative aspects of it to monopolize, simplify, force over game modes that's going to access more of your bank account than actually making it more time consuming for you to buy the next copy. I'm not trying to be a bitter guy because I still buy these games. I'm highly more concerned because more people are less and less trying to get more interested in actually playing Madden. They'll do these quick as fuck, boring, rebuild, simplified, dumb trades that you still have only 3 slots to do optionable trades, team optionable trades. You don't even get to know your players. Franchise mode is so simplifiedly boring. You could just your your players, depending on their ability or their skill level or their attitude, doesn't even option over the trade. Game is every game is shit. I've been trying my hardest because I saw the gameplay trailer for Madden 21 and I went over a thorough uh take over the gameplay trailer. It was so minusculely side cut that they did the bare minimum to try to highly analytically analyze how gameplay is supposed to work. I'm supposed to be more scientific over the way a spin move is supposed to be contracted. Even still, it's still animation focused. This game is gonna be dog water, and people are still gonna buy it because there's access football is not that good. Most of the other indie titles cannot be that highly budgeted as Madden right now. The most anticipated we have is for the next college game coming out next year. So, how obligated we are to get this is thoroughly off just boredom because we know Madden 21 isn't good, Madden 20 isn't good. The last 5 titles has not been up to par because of overly simplistic, bad glitchy factors, bare minimum physics, barely any replayability, into the semblance of just being just an expensive Madden mobile. They've been highly more obligated in giving more gimmicks how to actually sell more cards than giving you a fun experience to play with online friends. Giving you the bare minimum of interesting ways how to play NFL football, simulate ways how to, in your own way, how to play NFL football, and actually have the aesthetic of being in an NFL game. That's the whole experience. I don't mind a card collecting format, but here it is. You just make it card collecting, and you just show the detail and the history of how the NFL players work. And guess what? If you can, probably if they make it more easier to grind over cards, that's not that as time consuming as people wasting $50, $105 on packs, and just simplify that way. I just wasted $11,000 in just 6 months to play a game that I'm barely going to play for fun reasons other than to make content. People fuck over their bank for this game. You don't know how many people, and I'm not just saying YouTubers. People outside of this will ruin their bank because Madden knows that they're messing with a gambling unit that know that they don't have much enjoyment unless they win in something. And that's what they're capitalizing on. The only people who know stuff like this is Hawaii. That's why they cut over 2K in their tracks when you saw their bullshit trailer for 2K21. And people are caring more about the cover athletes. And I understand there's quintessentially a bit more of a younger demographic. Because football is as big as pro wrestling, NBA at most points, because it's currently America's pastime. But if we look over just the aesthetic, the quality, and most of what's been the reputation of Madden, I don't give a shit if you even put MF Doom on the gameplay trailer. The game is gonna be shit. The overall sales have been over a game mode than the game selling itself. No one gives a shit about the ripoff FIFA story mode. No one gives a shit about. It took us several years to actually get a drafting customization feature in the game. And now they made their own ripoff park that's going to be more quality MT. And I think it's still off Madden points. Just so you can get cosmetics. You already fucked yourself over there. NBA Live had a more easier quintessential way. Sure, it was still a grind fest, but it still gave you essential to at least basic cosmetics that felt time consuming, but at least feel rewarded when you get a good looking sneaker or some arm sleeves or a t-shirt that you wanted to wear. Why the fuck do I want SpongeBob SquarePants bullshit when I'm playing football? What demographic is EA transparently targeting? Look, I try my hardest not to be as intolerant as I am for these wrestling videos, with many other targets that I'm interested in, like animation or sports, entertainment, or overall logic. When your game doesn't sell yourself, and you're quintessentially only compromising over a game mode, getting you the most uh, profit over minimal pack openings, low budget time wasting challenges, with the bare minimum of your gameplay being a meta move track system. It, EA Sports is setting itself up for the worst type of stuff that's Fortnite level. But at least Fortnite is free to play because we quintessentially know that it's a multi-track game for platforms all over the world. They can get Rick and Morty. We got fucking SpongeBob. Madden is in the less of a cool factor than probably pro wrestling is. And I don't like saying that because I have more of a history with Madden than I do with pro wrestling or even SmackDown vs. Wild games. And this is the bare minimum that we're getting. So fuck the trailer. Fuck whoever's going to be an athletic cover. I don't care if they even make DeAndre Hopkins a 99 overall. That should be the bare minimum of anybody's concern, even how much they like the player. If you're doing that, how fucking old are you? Second, why are you that minusculely bored of that high a detail of a game that you're barely gonna play? That shouldn't be in your conversation. But that's all I want to bring up to the table. Thanks for watching. Madden 22 is gonna suck.